CTV News with Sarah Freemark.
Highway 11 through Muskoka was shut down today after a series of crashes due to blowing snow. Thanks for joining us. It was a nasty day for driving in parts of our region as the snow and wind led to blinding whiteout conditions. Numerous collisions were reported, including a massive pileup on Highway 11 between Bracebridge and Gravenhurst. This viewer video shows what it looked like in the southbound lanes of Highway 11 just before 1 o'clock this afternoon. Police responded to multiple crashes in this stretch between Highway 117 and Doe Lake Road, including one that sent one person to hospital with serious injuries. The snow was heavy at times, leading police to close the road for more than 3 hours. Countless people have been sending us photos of what Highway 11 looked like this afternoon. The OPP saying all hands were on deck, from local fire departments to paramedics and tow truck companies, to get the damaged cars off the road and injuries treated. At one point, the OPP asking people to stay off the local roads in Muskoka because of the relentless blowing snow. Highway 11 reopened shortly after 4 p.m. Now, as soon as that closure reopened, Highway 11 was closed once again late this afternoon, this time near Washago. This crash, according to OPP, involving a transport truck and several other vehicles. Police say the transport truck was heading north and crossed through the median into the southbound lanes near County Road 169. The injuries and damages are still being assessed at this hour, but we do offer updates at ctvnews.ca/Barrie and on CTV News tonight at 11. Now, it wasn't just Muskoka dealing with the wind whipping across the region. Dangerous conditions were reported all across our viewing area as emergency crews worked to keep up. Here's CTV's Rob Cooper.
From Simcoe County and Muskoka through Dufferin and Grey counties, it was a stressful day on the roads for drivers. With another heavy band of squalls overnight, people woke up and found themselves this morning in some of the worst whiteout conditions they can remember.
You can't see nothing. Nothing. It's just complete white snow drifts. It's crazy.
Parts of County Road 6 shut down in southern Georgian Bay because of the dangerous conditions. Police reporting a 5-vehicle collision on the road today. No major injuries.
Snow is blowing across the road pretty good. A lot of areas where there's no visibility.
Just one of those days?
One of those days.
All right, be safe, pal.
School buses were once again canceled and pulled off the roads. Police closed several roads because of blowing snow, and schools even closed in Grey County. And a large swath of County 124 was also closed again.
You just get into a complete whiteout. You have no idea where you are, what side of the road you're on.
Police say there are too many drivers who ignore the close signs on bad days like today.
It's happening on a consistent basis, to be completely honest.
The OPP remind people, if you get caught in an accident on a closed road, good luck getting your insurance company to bail you out. Over in Midland, more epic amounts of snow, another cleanup and dig out day. And the look on Alex Baker's face says it all.
I'm sick of this stuff, man. It's too much. It's not even February yet, and it's already this tall.
So the main concern today was a mixture of blowing and falling snow depending on where you are. Police say to drivers it's a good idea to avoid any kind of unnecessary travel on these kinds of days, and of course always stay off those closed roads. Rob Cooper, CTV News, Midland.
Now, along with the snow came the cold today, the wind making it feel several degrees cooler than what the thermometer read. And Environment Canada's senior climatologist says we may have to wait until the first full week of February before we feel any relief.
So far, we've had bouts of maybe 6 days of temperatures below freezing. We had one of those in mid-December. We had one at the end of December, early January. This one is, as far as I can see, 18 days where we won't see a thawing temperature. And so, my gosh, even next week where it tries to warm up, then there's an Arctic resupply of cold air to kind of freshen it up and to strengthen that weakened temperature.
Let's get right into our first look at weather. Case, do we have an idea of when that wind might let up?
Only Dave can say, freshen it up. That's a lovely one. Yes, as far as the winds go, yeah, they are dying down for the time being. They're going to kick up a little later on, and what a day as far as snowfall goes to the north. Now, central part of our viewing area, Barrie, Simcoe County, for lots of sunshine, right? All those streamers did push north. we didn't receive really anything as far as snowfalls go during the course of the day, which is nice for us, but not so nice for those that did. And yeah, let's talk about where that situation is most intense. There is a snow squall warning as shown right here by our Weather Watches and Mornings map. Snow squall warning continues to be in Muskoka Parry Sound and to the west of us. So to the north of Barrie and to the west of Barrie, right along a good part of Bruce County and Grey County, hugging the shores of, well, it looks like the southern tip of Georgian Bay and Lake Huron. We are still looking at the chance of 10 to an additional 40 centimeters of snow before tomorrow morning. And the winds, well, yes, they're going to pick up again, 50 to 60 K. Let's talk about a first look at the forecast, because it is a real lively one. As far as the first look at the forecast, brought to you by our friends at Presler Injury Law. Call 1-800-JUSTICE. Minus 13, Sarah. Yeah, chilly is right. More than chilly is more accurate. As far as the winds, well, 20 kilometers an hour out of the southwest for the time being, but they are picking up as the evening progresses. I'm looking at the little whirly thing behind me, and it's not really doing too much. As we speak, we're looking at temperatures. Yeah, I mean, minus 14 in Collingwood, minus 14 in Newmarket, minus 10. This is all, of course, without the wind chill. Minus 10 in Parry Sound and minus 12 in Gravenhurst. One more, minus 13, it looks like, in Mount Forest. A quick look, and this is the radar satellite images, and you can see, yeah, the streamers continue to come off. Now, the good news is the Great Lakes are really close to icing over, so we should get some reprieve from some of the snow in the next few days, as retired senior climatologist Dave Phillips says. These temperatures we're not going to be relenting. They're going to be really a bit of a deep freeze, and that should look after a lot of the ice content on some of the Great Lakes, which should reduce some of our streamers. Yeah, coming up in just a few minutes' time, how cold we're going to get, Sarah. All that back inside.
Okay, thanks, Case. It is almost synonymous with snow this time of the year. Salt, but there's just one problem. There isn't quite enough of it. Critical shortages are being reported in parts of the province and beyond. Now, if you can't find it, you might not be alone. CTV's Luke Samar joins us live tonight to tell us what this means for our walkways and our morning commute. Luke.
Well, Sarah, salt, sand trucks, as well as snowplows are continuing to work around the clock to make our roads drivable, but residents might notice some more snow-covered roads due to the salt shortage in the region.
Everyone wants salt. Everyone's coming in, asking for it. Right now, we're limited to what we have.
As residents continue to deal with the latest squall and less than ideal driving conditions, they also might not be able to grab an essential winter item off of the store shelves: salt.
Everywhere in Barrie, I've been to Walmart, Canadian Tire, even stopped at the Circle K and inquired with them, as I seen they had some bags and they told me they weren't for sale. They were for personal use because of the shortage.
Local businesses in Barrie also seeing the pinch when it comes to salt.
We limited 3 bags per person. That way, you know, everyone can get a little bit of the salt. Instead of focusing on one person, everybody can have it.
And it's not just residents who are noticing the shortage.
We certainly don't want to see a freezing rain event right now, but you know, we're doing our best to kind of conserve and you know, get the roads cleared safely.
The city has used almost 15,000 tons of salt so far this year, on track to surpass their average use.
Typically, in an average year, 25,000 tons is what we use. Last year was particularly hard. I would say just over 30,000 tons of salt.
Not everyone is directly impacted by the reported shortage. Bradford, West Gwillimbury, and municipalities north of Orillia have reported no issues.
There is a shortage right now. We do have a stockpile of about 1,500 to 2,000 metric ton. We are a little concerned that it may not last throughout the rest of the season, so we are taking measures to conserve salt.
Encouraging residents to use other materials if they can't find salt.
They could use sand instead of salt. It's, I mean, it won't melt the ice for you, but it'll give you the traction that you're looking for.
Now, despite these cold temperatures right through the region, the city of Barrie says that the conditions are actually helping them maintain their salt levels, as salt is less effective in the cold as cities turn to use more sand. Reporting live in Barrie, I'm Luke Samar. Sarah, we'll send it back inside to you.
A pair of houses in an Orillia subdivision have been totally destroyed after an early morning fire. CTV's Jack Morris has been looking into this for us. Jack, do we know if authorities at this point think it's suspicious?
Well, Sarah, the Ontario Fire Marshal has been called in to investigate the cause of the fire, and firefighters are expected to be on the scene there for some time. This is what it looked like early this morning. The house is totally engulfed in flames. 911 calls started rolling in just after 6 o'clock. The subdivision still under construction. The fire started in a finished building. It spread to another still under construction next to it. Both were burning by the time firefighters got there. And this is what it looked like this afternoon. Firefighters there on the scene dealing with hot spots. The subdivision is mostly empty. That posed a problem for firefighters who needed to dig out hydrants before they could bring all possible water to bear on the flames. 6 trucks and 20 firefighters were ultimately called to battle the fire, including an aerial truck from Springwater.
Obviously, the cold weather certainly does create some additional factors. So, as one would assume, freezing becomes an issue, and we have to make sure that we keep our pumps running and our nozzles running so we don't freeze up. But obviously, the fatigue on firefighters greatly increases. So, trying to rotate those firefighters out, but also trying to find that balance of just ensuring we do have enough staff, but not too many that they're sitting idle and getting cold.
Damage from the fire is estimated at more than $2 million. The cause is not yet known. The Fire Marshal's office is working that out now. Reporting live, I'm Jack Morse. Sarah, back to you.
On the heels of another brazen jewelry store smash and grab in Barrie before Christmas, one of the 4 young men accused of robbing a different Georgian Mall jewelry store last summer has taken a plea deal. CTV's Mike Arcelides reports.
A 17-year-old from Toronto has admitted to being one of these 4 hooded and masked young men who smashed up Amore Jewelers in Barrie's Georgian Mall in mid-August. The teen, who turns 18 in May, pleaded guilty to robbery and disguise with intent to commit an indictable offense for being part of a crew that shattered display cases with hammers, loading whatever jewelry they could into bags before being chased off. The 20-second smash and grab was caught on camera. The 4 young men were then seen fleeing the mall in a stolen Honda Civic that crashed on Innisfil Beach Road when it lost control and ended up in a ditch in a construction zone. Police said the 4 young men and their getaway driver, who was 16 on the afternoon of August 18th, were quickly arrested and taken into custody. The 17-year-old from Toronto was the first of the accused to plead guilty in the case. He also faces gun charges in Toronto and was denied bail twice before taking the plea deal.
My name is Ahmed Al-Said.
2 of his co-accused, 22-year-old Ahmed Al-Said and 19-year-old Josiah Smith, remain behind bars. Al-Said, the only young man from Barrie, had been working as a mechanic a few weeks prior to the jewelry store robbery. Al-Said and Smith returned to court on Wednesday. 2 minors who turned 17 and 18 later this month were each granted bail to their mothers and remain out on bail, including 1 young man police say was found with a gun on him. Amore Jewelers was targeted twice in 12 months. It's unclear whether any of the accused were involved in both robberies. The Toronto teen's lawyer, Jeffrey Fisher, told the court his client had no knowledge a co-accused may have had a gun on him that day, and that the young man made a, quote, very poor decision surrounded by a bad group of friends. The identities of those under 18 are protected by the Youth Criminal Justice Act. The allegations against the accused have not been tested in court. Mike Arcelides, CTV News, Barrie.
A former longtime employee of the Orillia Youth Centre, now facing sexual assault allegations, has been granted bail. 43-year-old Chris Bronson was charged by police following a report of an alleged sexual assault. Loved ones pledged $10,000 to secure his release under house arrest. Bronson faces 4 charges, including sexual exploitation, sexual assault, and luring a person under 18 through telecommunication. The city of Orillia confirming that Bronson no longer works at the youth centre. York Regional Police are warning businesses about fake $100 bills being circulated in East Gwillimbury. Officers were called to the area of Yonge Street and Green Lane on January 15th after a person used the counterfeit bill to buy small items. The suspect was located by police, taken into custody, and was found to be in possession of 7 fake bills. A similar incident on January 6th in Richmond Hill is also being investigated. YRP is reminding businesses and the public to always exercise caution when accepting when accepting $100 bills. The Ontario Liberal caucus is recommending John Fraser for interim leader, a role he is poised to hold for a third time. Riding association presidents and executive council still have to vote on that choice, which will happen in the coming days. The party has also said full leadership race details will be released on February 9th. It comes after Bonnie Crombie stepped down last week. Fraser has served as the MPP for Ottawa South since 2013. The father of a BC teenager who was found dead in Australia delivered a heartbreaking tribute today. Todd James posted, "Our hearts are shattered as we share the tragic loss of our beautiful daughter, Piper. We will always remember her infectious laugh and her kind spirit. I admired her strength and determination to go after her dreams." Piper James was 19 years old. Her family, based in Campbell River, tells CTV News she had been backpacking through Australia with a close friend. She had reportedly been working in the area where she was found in Queensland. Police say her body was discovered at a beach surrounded by wild dogs.
At this stage, it's too early to speculate on cause of death. We simply can't confirm whether this young lady drowned or died as a result of being attacked by dingoes.
Police say it appears she went for an early morning swim, and the cause of her death is still under investigation. Strong words from Canada's Prime Minister addressing leaders at the World Economic Forum in Davos. Without mentioning the U.S. President, Mark Carney also said the rules-based world order is fading and we must adapt, then reaffirming Canada's support for Greenland. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver is in Davos with more on Carney's remarks.
Nestled in the usually calm mountains of the ski town Davos, a chaotic meeting of hundreds of politicians and top business leaders at the World Economic Forum that this year Prime Minister Mark Carney used to deliver a frank message about the future.
The old order is not coming back. We shouldn't mourn it. Nostalgia is not a strategy. But we believe that from the fracture we can build something bigger, better, stronger, more just.
Carney declared the U.S.-led world order dead and said countries must turn inward now that it's clear integration can lead to subordination.
Call it what it is, a system of intensifying great power rivalry where the most powerful pursue their interests using economic integration as coercion.
Withstanding those economic shocks, the Prime Minister said will require like-minded countries to pivot, to work together to hedge uncertainty. While Trump's name was never mentioned, Carney did call on middle powers like Canada to push back against domination by great powers, using tariffs as leverage and supply chains as vulnerabilities to be exploited.
In a world of great power rivalry, the countries in between have a choice. Compete with each other for favor, or to combine to create a third path with impact.
The message receiving what organizers described as a rare standing ovation at a summit where geopolitics and the future of Greenland is looming large.
Our commitment to NATO's Article 5 is unwavering. Canada strongly opposes tariffs over Greenland and calls for focused talks to achieve our shared objectives of security and prosperity in the Arctic.
Carney may get a chance to raise his concerns about Greenland directly to the U.S. president. While no meeting is currently scheduled between Carney and Donald Trump, the U.S. president will be here tomorrow at the same time as Mark Carney. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Davos, Switzerland.
A lot of chatter today over an image Donald Trump shared early this morning on Truth Social, which showed Canada and Greenland draped in the American flag. CTV's Mike LeCouture is looking into reaction here in Canada to yet another inflammatory provocation.
The original photo came from an August meeting between President Donald Trump and European leaders. It shows them in the Oval Office with a map of Ukraine and Russia in the background. A newly doctored version posted by Trump shows a different type of expansionism. The new map shows the stars and stripes painted over Greenland, Venezuela, and Canada.
He wants to be in control. He wants to manage. He wants to run the hemisphere and be a dictator.
Former Foreign Affairs Minister Lloyd Axworthy believes Canada needs to push back.
I think it's about time we showed a little sort of what the hell is going on, Mr. Trump? Would you stop this nonsense? Because if he's not confronted, then he will feel emboldened to go ahead.
Now, the Globe and Mail is reporting hypothetical responses to a U.S. military invasion are being modeled by the Canadian Armed Forces. However, the Foreign Affairs Minister would only speak broadly about national defense.
To always ensure that the defense and protection of our country is first and foremost on top of our list of priorities.
CTV News requested a comment from the Canadian Armed Forces, but we did not get one. Trump has mused about taking over Canada for more than a year, but one of his former advisors downplayed the seriousness of that particular post.
But just in an interview that he did a few hours ago, he didn't say anything about the United States taking over Canada, and in fact referred to Canada's interest also in the Arctic. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that from the Canadian perspective.
Kellyanne Shaw says Trump is having a little fun with that post, but for many in Canada, it's serious. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
Justin Trudeau was also in Davos, where he once again rejected any talk of Canada becoming the 51st U.S. state. The former Prime Minister was accompanied by his partner, pop star Katy Perry, who sat in the front row. Trudeau also spoke about Canada not meddling in other countries' affairs to take oil. He and Perry ducked right out after his talk without speaking to Canadian journalists who attempted to ask them questions. Coming up next here on CTV Barrie, it's a win-win. Clean out your closet while supporting one of our region's largest humane societies. Plus, join an artistic circle that fulfills a passion for the arts and offers a social side. You're watching CTV Barrie. Thanks for staying with us. The Circle of Artists in the Sunshine City is expanding, and a new hub for the artistic community wants you to join. The Makers Circle on Peter Street is inviting you to join classes, some of which are free, to help learn to create and express yourself through art. More than 12 artists are involved in presenting and sharing their expertise in their chosen medium. Original work with paints, jewelry, giftware, and fiber art can all be found in the Makers Circle.
Just a place where people can connect with other people, and I find that doing art together breaks down barriers, social, economic, cultural barriers. And
helping people be confident and just trying something new and saying, yes, I'm a creative person and I can do this. And some people don't want to do that, and that's okay too, but that's why we have other things. You know, they can come and buy art and just be in it and enjoy it.
The Makers Circle covers much of the artistic spectrum by offering music lessons and hosting community events. Well, here's a New Year's resolution we can all follow through with: declutter and donate.
Everything that you see in this store has been lovingly donated by either local businesses, through our friends of Treasure Tales, or through just going through and purging your home and bringing us some treasures.
That's the Treasure Tales thrift store in downtown Collingwood. It's run by the Georgian Triangle Humane Society, and donations of gently used items are what keep the shelves stocked. From furniture to home decor, women's clothing and jewelry to books, all the proceeds support the care and well-being of pets at the Humane Society, which does more than just house animals.
Somebody's handy enough to put an electrical cord in through there.
The need cannot be greater right now. We welcome more than 1,200 pets every year to our location here in Collingwood, dogs and cats, and we adopt them out to loving homes. The facility has seen an increase in demand, not only for animal intakes, but for our services. We've got a full companion hospital. We offer youth programs.
Found on Ontario Street in Collingwood, Treasure Tales is open 7 days a week and is supported by more than 40 volunteers and, of course, a community that generously donates. If you are looking for more information about any of the community events that you see during the CTV Barrie newscast, it can be reviewed on our website, ctvnews.ca/Barrie, or scan the QR code on your screen. Coming up shortly, some Canadians took in the Northern Lights in a display not seen for 20 years. More on that, but first, let's head outside. How is it, Case?
Well, a windy, snowy night last night, and we've had wind gusts earlier today, 57 kilometers an hour in Owen Sound. More snow on the way, too, and our weather watcher artiste, well, have a look. Caleb says, I love the snow because it sometimes means a snow day. You're watching CTV News Barrie.
Picture this, brought to you by Bounce 104.1 and Pure Country 106.
Well, we've certainly got the snow, so we'd like to see what you're doing with it. Picture this at ctv.ca is the email address. It's all about winter fun this week. Let's head outside. Case, I noticed that you're wearing your pook toque. That's what they're called.
Yes, they are.
That's the
They are,
company,
and
yeah.
I was gonna prop up my socks so they were standing up tall because it's that kind of night.
Well, I thought you might like to know the origin story behind the Canadian pook toque. Started by good lads Tony and Kevin. Somebody threw a sock at Tony, joking around saying, "Put a sock in it." So he put it on his head, and pook toque was born.
There you go.
I've got one in pink.
Another a pink poop toque. Lovely, lovely. Well, you're going to need it tonight. There's no doubt about that. And just a quick word, too. If you're taking your animals out for a walk, understand they're not going to like it. I know you've got them bundled up and maybe little booties, but the walk's not going to be too long with this kind of weather because, yeah, our little furry friends aren't going to enjoy this too much. And it's getting worse as far as the cold goes. So keep that in mind for our furry friends. Let's talk about the forecast. Let's talk about how cold it is. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. I want to talk about snow squall warning, which remains in effect. And you can certainly see the northern part of our viewing area, parts of Muskoka Parry Sound, and to the west, parts of Grey Bruce. And we're looking, according to Environment Canada, an additional 10 to 40 centimeters of snow in some areas with these streamers coming in, and winds 50 to 60 k overnight, stretching into tomorrow. Let's advance things. Take a look at temperatures right now. And as we speak, I'm going to see if I can see the wind chill. Minus 22. Minus 22 is what it is in Collingwood right now with the wind chill. Looks like minus 21 in Alliston, minus 19 in Newmarket, and minus 21 in Toronto. My nose is pressed right against the screen out here, ladies and gentlemen. I got to start wearing my glasses. Almanac for today. Minus 11, minus 15. That's the high, that's the low. Record 10.6 back in 1907. That's going back a stretch. 1884, minus 30. Woo, we're getting around that mark sooner rather than later. Sunrise, sunset, about 9 hours and 25 minutes of daylight. Adam, please, thank you very much. The forecast radar. This is showing the streamers. What do we have arriving there? Yes, more snow. More snow. It just keeps coming, doesn't it, in various amounts. I was out this morning clearing snow, and looks like I'm going to be doing it again tomorrow. Let's talk about the forecast. This is this evening. Southern tip of Georgian Bay, Lake Simcoe, overnight feeling like minus 23 when all settles down. Settles down? I'm going to go with that with the wind chill. 2 to 4 centimeters of snow is still possible for this evening. Blowing snow, 40 to 60 k winds out of the southwest. For tomorrow, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. An additional 5 centimeters of snow. And what you just saw on the forecast radar, that's tomorrow night. An additional 2 to 10 centimeters of snow arriving. This is Orangeville, Bradford, Georgina, Newmarket, Richmond Hill. Minus 23 with the wind chill this evening. A few flurries kicking around the Orangeville area. It looks like everywhere else in the Newmarket region, mainly cloudy. And then for tomorrow, mainly cloudy skies, an additional 5 centimeters of snow in the latter part of the day. Up to Parry Sound, Huntsville, Bracebridge, Gravenhurst, Halliburton, minus 23 with the wind chill. It looks like an additional 15 to 25 centimeters of snow is possible. As per those streamers we just saw, yeah, only about 5 centimeters in the Halliburton region. Minus 4, minus 6 for tomorrow. Snow squalls, 10 centimeters of snow during the day, and an additional 10 centimeters of snow possible tomorrow night. That's tonight and tomorrow. Now time for the Diamond and Diamond Lawyers 5-day extended forecast. And here we go with Thursday. How about a little snow? Minus 6, minus 15. Friday, the high, minus 15. That's the high. The overnight low, minus 24. Saturday, peak of sunshine. Boy, that sun was nice today. 40% chance of a few flurries, minus 15 for the high, and minus 12 in a sun and cloud mix on Sunday. This is the 5-day extended forecast for York Region. Thursday looks like 40% chance of snow, minus 5 for the high. Friday, sun cloud, very cool, minus 12 for the high, and minus 24 overnight. 60% chance of snow during the course of the day. And then Saturday arrives, well, fair skies, minus 12. That's crisp. And minus 10 on the Sunday, cloudy and a slight chance of some flurries kicking in. Muskoka, Parry Sound, Halliburton, snow on Thursday, minus 7, minus 20. Look at Friday. Friday, the high, we're anticipating some snow. Minus 16 for the high, minus 29 overnight. That's, of course, without the wind chill. Saturday, fair skies, minus 15. And Sunday, at this point, cloudy skies and minus 12. So, yeah, we are certainly cooling off in a big way. Polar vortex dropping down. There it comes. It's coming to get you, Sarah. Make sure you got your puke on.
I'll have to bring mine in tomorrow. Now, most Canadians were treated to a dazzling display of pink, green, and yellow as the Northern Lights danced across the night sky, stretching as far as the southern U.S. It's being called the largest radiation solar storm in more than 20 years. CTV's Paul Hollingsworth reports.
Hilda Vanden Heuvel never imagined waking up to such a stunning sight.
I could see the rays in the sky, and so I knew they were there. And I took a quick check before I got dressed.
A retired photographer, she never misses an opportunity to capture pictures of the Northern Lights and post them on social media.
I just get so excited when the Northern Lights are out. It's a hobby. And it's a lot of fun.
Astronomers say the Northern Lights lit up the sky with a palette of sparkling colors, beginning late Monday night, lasting until early Tuesday morning.
For so many people across Canada and the United States, they had an extremely intense display of red, green, northern lights.
The northern lights happen when charged particles are released from the sun and enter the atmosphere. The scientific community has ranked this latest solar storm as the most intense aurora event in more than 20 years.
The way that it interacted with our magnetic field sort of waned and increased and decreased again over the course of the night.
According to Tiffany Fields, we are not getting more Northern Lights displays than in the past. Scientific technology has come a long way, giving experts the ability to predict when the Northern Lights are going to happen so more people can see them.
And it allows us to just look up into the sky and wonder what is happening.
And participate in a shared experience, watching the nighttime sky dance with vivid colors. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Halifax.
A Manitoba livestock auctioneer is making a bid to become a world champion.
Pounds, here we go. All right, let's have a sale. How much here?
I thought I spoke quickly. 36-year-old Brennan Jack from Verdun, Manitoba is usually selling cattle, but this June at the World Livestock Auctioneer Championships in South Dakota, he'll be selling himself as the best at his craft. This will be his 11th time that Jack has competed. He's a regular top 10 finisher, but this time he hopes to claim the world title. And we're getting a longer look at a new documentary on Paul McCartney's post-Beatles career.
1, 2, 3. The Beatles have been my whole life, really. When we split up, I thought, I'll never write another note of music, ever.
Paul McCartney, Man on the Run, covers the ups and downs of his life after the Beatles, the formation of Wings, and his relationship with his late wife, Linda. The documentary starts streaming on February 27th. Talk about going the extra mile. Next year on CTV Barrie, a crossing guard has been named Canada's favorite. How he nabbed that accolade. Plus, we'll recap tonight's top stories. Please do stay with us. Time now to recap our top stories from Simcoe County and Muskoka through Dufferin and Grey counties. Another heavy band of squalls. Part of County Road 6 was shut down in southern Georgian Bay, along with numerous crashes on Highway 11 between Gravenhurst and Bracebridge. The salt shortage continues in some areas in our region. Barrie has used almost 15,000 tons of salt so far this year, on track to surpass their average use. Not everyone is impacted by the reported shortage. Bradford, West Gwillimbury, and municipalities north of Orillia have reported no issues. And the Ontario Fire Marshal has been called in to investigate after a fire destroyed 2 houses in an Oromadante subdivision just after 6 a.m. The damage from the fire is estimated at more than $2 million. The cause is not yet known. When the temperature dips to dangerous levels or the snow is blowing, they're out there helping kids stay safe on school days. Crossing guards are fixtures across the province, and one in Toronto has been honored as one of Canada's favorites. CTV Sean Leathong reports.
His place is at Bedford Road and Lowther Avenue in downtown Toronto, steps from 2 public schools. It's where crossing guard Kevin Enriquez proudly navigates safety with charm.
Hello, no problem. Cool glasses.
combining duty and charisma, and for that, he's been named one of Canada's favorite.
This work is great, and I always love bringing safety and security to kids.
Helping kids to and from school, Enriquez explains that he tries to connect with those he's helping, even as duty calls.
I like the connection. Sorry, pardon me.
He says no matter what kind of day it is or what kind of connection they want, Enriquez is willing to meet them where they are, or as he says.
So, like, the connection is always different, but like, that I respect either way if people just need to get from point A to point B, right?
Having only been a crossing guard for a year, Enriquez has made such an impression that parents from both Huron Public School and Jesse Ketchum Public School nominated him for Canada's favorite crossing guard.
My kids always are excited to see him in the mornings. Even if it's a rainy day, he'll go out of his way to kind of make you smile like a rainbow in the rain.
Of the 126 crossing guards nominated, Enriquez is one of only 3 winners from across Canada and the only one in Ontario.
But for those kids, he's a leader. He's teaching them how to navigate those crossings safely every single day.
Canada's favorite crossing guard has been awarded since 2005 by charity Parachute, highlighting those who keep kids safe with a smile.
When kids are happy crossing the streets, it kind of like starts their day off in schools as well. Kind of like it's like a domino effect.
So on one of the coldest days of the year, Kevin Enriquez will try to spread a little warmth.
I really want to get them like kind of like being noticed and like not feel left out. I'm well, how are you?
Helping to keep a community safe and connected. Sean Lee Thong, CTV News.
Turning to business news now, new research suggests that canola remains a vulnerable export despite Canada's recent deal with China, reducing tariffs on the major prairie crop. Canola is over-reliant on China and the United States, according to an analysis from the Simpson Centre for Food and Agricultural Policy at the University of Calgary. The research paper says nearly 90% of Canada's exports of canola is absorbed by those 2 countries, and options to send the crop elsewhere are limited. The study points out that the European Union has restrictions on genetically modified products, essentially shutting out Canadian canola. A look at the markets now that the day has come to an end. The TSX was down 340 points, the Dow was down 870, and the Nasdaq was down 561. And commodities, oil was up, closing at $60.36 a barrel. Gold was up, finishing at $4,765 an ounce. Our dollar up, ending the day at 72.31 cents US. The Canadian Paralympic team in para-ice hockey was announced today, and one local athlete made the list. Adam Dixon from Midland, seen here showing off his silver medal from the Games in 2018, made the team once again. A total of 17 players were selected for the team. Dixon also won a silver medal at the 2022 Paralympic Games and a bronze medal in 2014. Canada will play their first game in Italy on March 7th against Slovakia. The gold medal game will go on March 15th. Toronto Maple Leafs kicked off a 5-game homestand against the Minnesota Wild last night, but had an uphill battle after falling behind 5-1 after just 2 periods.
Terms pass deflects, Domi, a lead pass, Matthews, he's in, he scores!
Austin Matthews scored to pull the Leafs with 2 goals with 5 minutes left in the third, but they would get no closer. Minnesota wins 6-3. Matthews also had an assist, while Marcus Foligno had a hat trick for the Wild. The Leafs are back in action tomorrow night when they host the Red Wings. Now this, the gloves and blockers were off last night in Florida for a rare on-ice spectacle, an old-fashioned goalie throwdown.
And here comes Bobrovsky all the way down the ice. And Bobrovsky's got the gloves off, and he's going after the Delphinets. We've got a goalie fight.
After a scrum behind San Jose's net, Florida's goalie charged the length of the ice to square up with the Sharks' netminder. It was the league's first goalie fight since 2020. Each goalkeeper received a 5-minute major penalty, an additional 2 minutes for leaving their posts, but a standing ovation from the crowd. That was wild. Toronto Scepters. Let's talk about the ladies. They're in Seattle, where they will face off against the Torrent tonight. The Scepters are looking to keep the momentum going after breaking their 4-game losing streak with an OT victory against the Vancouver Golden Eyes on Saturday. The Scepters last met the Torrent more than 2 weeks ago, where they suffered a 3-2 defeat. Puck drop is at 10 p.m. And the Toronto Raptors are also on the West Coast tonight to take on the Golden State Warriors.
Ingram attacking Ingram. The two-handed slam.
The Raps have been off since Sunday when they dropped their second game in a row in a 17-point loss to the Lakers. The Raptors and Warriors both have a record of 25-19, but Toronto is 4th in the East while Golden State is 8th in the West. Still to come, it's one of the most talked about television shows on the planet right now. Find out how one NHL team is capitalizing on the success of heated rivalry while at the same time helping a local hockey league. Details next on CTV Barrie.
Hi, we're Martin and Steph
From Bounce 104.1.
And this week on the show, we are giving away tickets to see Toto on August 30th.
So make sure you're listening weekdays from 5:30 to 10. Here's a look at your primetime lineup. A Beautiful Place to Die, a Martha's Vineyard mystery starts at 8, followed by Criminal Minds at 10 p.m. and CTV News Barrie at 11. It is a red-hot series for television fans and hockey fans alike. Well, now one NHL team is embracing the success of heated rivalry while helping a local organization. CTV's Kimberly Johnson explains.
Jenny Asselin is an Ottawa Senators fan and a heated rivalry fan. She was caught off guard when the worlds collided at the Canadian Tire Centre.
Going to buy a commemorative puck, and sure enough, there's a Hollander and a Rosenov jersey right there waiting for me. It was just serendipity, really.
The Senators have released heated rivalry-inspired Sens jerseys. Fans of the series can now buy Senators jerseys with the names Hollander and Rosenov on the back. The popular Crave original series is a love story about pro hockey players Shane Hollander and Ilya Rosenov, who are on rival teams.
We had the idea on Friday morning, and we had a whole bunch of jerseys in the store by Saturday night at our game, and sold out within probably an hour before the first period was over.
Peter Shire with the Senators says the store was getting requests for the specialized jerseys from heated rivalry fans. So they had some made up ahead of Saturday's game against Montreal. He says online sales are also popular.
We woke up on Sunday morning. We had orders from, I think, Germany, Sweden, Indonesia, Kazakhstan, Sweden, from all over the world. So it really, it's great.
In all, he says about 50 jerseys have already been sold, and proceeds will be going towards Ottawa Pride hockey.
Heated rivalry has been a really fun topic of conversation lately. I feel it's been taking over conversations in the locker room, and it's a great, wholesome show.
Ottawa Pride Hockey is an inclusive hockey recreation league for the queer community. And with about 200 regular players, the league's co-coordinator says the goal is to make sure everyone sees themselves on the ice and on a hockey jersey.
So important to be able to see yourself as a kid, even as an adult now, just like, okay, I am welcome here.
And with the city of Ottawa set to play a possible role in the upcoming season 2 of Heated Rivalry, now fans can have the best of both worlds.
Yeah, a fun little thing to see the Sens sort of embrace.
Kimberly Johnson, CTV News.
That's my Sens case. Got to show them some love in that case, eh?
Yeah, you got to show the pride. Absolutely. Let's talk about first thing tomorrow morning. Get up and go forecast. Get ready. Yeah, here we go. We're looking at predominantly cloudy skies in Barrie, -11, -13 in Newmarket. And it could see a flurry or two coming down to Gravenhurst, -12 at 7 a.m. Have yourself a fantastic evening and a better tomorrow. Sarah.
Thanks very much, Case, and same to everyone at home. Thanks for spending this 60 minutes with us. I'm Sarah Freemark, and Jack Morris will join you on the desk tonight at 11. Take care and stay warm out there.